Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode of the Nerds of the North podcast, episode number 44, our 44th episode. Look at that. We've had some breaks here and there, but we're, steaming on strong. Uh, Starting off today, I am host number one, Matt, as always, and joining me, as always, is host number two,
Nick.
And we're going to be talking about Kenobi today. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show from Disney Plus, just dropped this week. 2 episodes, roughly 40 to 50 minutes in length. So we're just going to be kind of riffing on that today and anything else that pops into our little pea brains. So, Nick, Kenobi, what'd you think? I mean, this has been a long awaited series I feel like for both of us. In addition to just everyone's wanted Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan in some capacity, even him himself.
Yeah, I guess just to preface this before I even begin, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I've already watched the new Kenobi show 3 times since it's come out on Thursday evening. So I love Star Wars. So no matter what they put out, even if it's just a steaming pile of crap straight out of the first Jurassic Park movie, like I'm gonna watch it probably multiple times. So just preface that with that. I love Star Wars. It's probably my favorite media that is a thing. So that being said, like take everything I say with a grain of salt, I guess. Just know that whatever I say about the show, it's coming from that sort of
the angle of a fan.
I'm definitely a fan of Star Wars, for sure. So going in, I had extremely high expectations, as any fan would, having waited for so long for something that I don't even know if it was actually going to happen. That is Ian McGregor coming back as Kenobi, and he's a fan favorite character, obviously. But my initial impressions are I'm a little bit mixed on how I feel about the show so far.
Really?
And I think that feeling ultimately comes down to Leia being involved as a child actor. So
really?
Yeah,
because I really enjoyed. I hadn't even thought about for a moment that we were going to get like anything from the other side of this, which I mean maybe that's something I should have expected, but I was really excited at the notion that we were going to see some of the Organa family interacting, and specifically little Leia. Like I think she's adorable, but I thought she actually did a pretty good job. Like her portrayal of the character, I think, has been fun so far. There will be time to disappoint. I generally have grievances with child actors. Most shows are that have child actors in them featured prominently, I'm not a huge fan of. But like Stranger Things was definitely one example when it first came out where I really enjoyed all of the actors and actresses that were children in that. And I kind of feel the same way about Obi-Wan so far. Like I thought, I don't know her name, but I thought she did a really great job.
Yeah, I don't know her name either. But I mean, I thought she did an okay job, as good as a child actress can do. There was just several scenes where I think specifically because she was there, I had to suspend my disbelief more than I was necessarily able to do.
Sure.
Several scenes where she's running around and like you sort of as an audience member have to pretend like people couldn't just capture her right away.
I mean, that is what I was gonna agree with you on wholeheartedly. Is that first scene in the woods, specifically where the bumbling henchmen are chasing her when they're still on Alderaan. I was just like, wow, am I to believe that they wouldn't just like, you could almost see them slowing down on purpose to like allow her to get more distance between them and her. It's like, oh, that's a little rough.
I remember, well, there's a scene where she's just running and runs up to this guy. It's like, oh, there you are. It's like, well, you ran up to him, number one. And then she just runs off, and it just seems like they're almost like letting her get away. I'm like, was that part of their plan to initially let her get away for a little bit? It was a little weird, a little awkward.
I will say that, like, to be fair, I guess you could kind of shoo away that, like, the hesitance on their part a little bit, because one of those henchmen does kind of explicitly later in that episode, uh, you know, show some qualms about kidnapping children for their, as part of their business model. and they're like showing some hesitance. So maybe that's where, like, or you could use that as an explanation, maybe. But
Well,
at
there's
that
also
point,
other scenes of her running around. This time on, I think, Dayu.
yeah,
She's like, sorry, I'm just gonna look at this because my dog. Okay, no, we're good. But yeah, she's running around on that Blade Runner planet, and still no one is able to capture her. Like, she's just a little girl. There's also another thing where, like, Obi-Wan's like, oh, I want to get you a different jacket because people might not recognize you. I'm like, why? How is that supposed to help people not recognize a little girl if she just changed like the color
I
of her
mean,
jacket?
like, her having her hood up, it might, like, help.
It's just little things like that where I'm like,
Mhm.
I love Star Wars.
Mhm.
There's also a few other just really awkward things where you see Riva running around on top of the building, like, building's really cool, but then for some reason she's not able to reach Obi-Wan. So why did we see all this? Just because it looked cool? And then, like, it's just really awkwardly edited together some parts. So part of me, one thing I'll say is this show feels a lot more like the prequels tonally than I was expecting. So part of me was like,
Sure.
well, maybe Lucasfilm's like, well, people really do like the prequels these days, and those are pretty god awful. Like, maybe
Yeah,
they'll
maybe
just get what they
we'll
want.
give them a little bit more what they want, right?
I mean, the little girl, if anything, the thing that she reminded me most of was the child actor. I think his name was Jake Lloyd, that played a young Anakin Skywalker, which makes sense in some capacity. And I think as a child, I would absolutely love this show. Because I liked Phantom Menace when I was a kid. Like, I loved it. And that, as far as that's concerned, that's my biggest negative about the show so far, is maybe the tone and just the inclusion of a child actress. Like, I don't really care that much if there's young Leia. I more care that they focus on her so much and give her so much screen time. And I know if any child has the ability, unless you're like some sort of amazing Haley Joel Osment, Dakota Fanning, like, freak of nature actor or actress, I don't think you're going to be able to support that amount of, like, screen time, especially with a crowd like Star Wars fans who are very
Impassioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things I do want to say that I do like about it, but I'm going to let you comment on what I said first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I do agree that some of the like, action sequences with her in particular, something that, like, I definitely considered as a negative was specifically when Obi-Wan has been cornered on that portion of the roof, and Leia is, like, considering jumping over the gap at this point.
Yeah,
it was like 5 minutes of, like, Leia, no, Leia, no, Leia, no. Like, I feel like that scene went on for way too freaking long.
Yeah.
Like, he kept repeating, like, don't do it, don't jump, don't.
There's like a scene where she literally jumps a gap that's like maybe several inches long, like, lengthy, and she, like, jumps it, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then, like, she jumps off the building, like you're saying, and the whole time I'm like, this girl, like, I'm supposed to be afraid of her. She's running away. She's the cause of this whole problem. She's running away from Obi-Wan. Like, I have no sympathy for her right now. Like, am I supposed to be like? And then when she's falling, she's like, Obi-Wan. I'm like, you literally just jumped off the building to avoid Ben. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you calling out for his help now when you literally just jumped off a building to avoid him? Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird like I feel like they can't quite make up their mind with her so much, like because like in having that conversation with her cousin, right? Like she comes off as like a very well spoken and uh like a figure, one that is not to be fucked with even as a child, right? Like she can
Which
hold her own.
Leia should be like that.
Yeah, right. And like so I really love that depiction of her. But then at the same time, like as they're walking around through the streets of this like slummy planet Dayu, she like would not stop saying the word Jedi. You're a Jedi? Can I say louder that you're a Jedi? Is that a lightsaber? Like for
Bill Burr
someone who's
accent.
supposed like is she's supposed to come off as smart, but like they're walking, she's been kidnapped. People are still after them and Obi-Wan, but she can't fucking keep her trap shut while they're walking around through this crowd. And like it doesn't ultimately cause a problem other than people like literally seeing them. But for fuck's sake, I just kept thinking that it's like, oh my god, shut up. Like quit asking these really direct questions about like, oh, who are you? Can you tell me
Yeah.
while like
It's
Jedi are
really
being hunted?
it's really surprising to me because right after I watched it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get on Reddit to see what people think.
Sure.
And then I've been kind of just following what the comments on Reddit so far have been. And for the most part, it's been extremely positive about this show, which I thought people were gonna be like super harsh on it. So I was a little nervous about that, but I am happy people are not,
Mm-hmm.
at least so far as that I've seen, aren't
Eviscerating it.
being really terrible to the child actress, number one, but just the show in general.
I
So
mean,
I don't
I
mean to
think
shit on the parade right now with my.
no, well, because I think like some of them are valid criticisms, but also in defense of her, like not as an actress, I think she's been doing a really good job as an actress. I think it's more of the character. She's a child, like, and so regardless of like maybe how smart she comes off in some scenes, I think she is still just a kid, and so she doesn't understand the situation she's in. And so like her running away from Obi-Wan, it's like the only person that's shown her any kind of kindness in like whatever time frame since she got kidnapped. And she suddenly starts questioning whether he's a good guy or whether she should even be like with him, in this moment, and chooses to run away. It's like it's the logic of a child, and so it's probably not meant necessarily to be understood, just witnessed and kind of confounding. So I don't know. I mean, I will say that like my first watch through of this, or I've only had one, but like my watch through of this was mostly positive. Like I really found myself just being delighted getting to see some of these scenes with Leia. Honestly, like the parts with Obi-Wan, like it was such a juxtaposition of like the parts with Leia just like being cute and adventurous and yay, family, and then Obi-Wan just going and chopping meat off a desert whale. Like just
Yeah,
the saddest 8 to 5.
I don't know what's up with the desert like whale thing. Like what was that exactly? I kind of wanted that to be explained. And why they were just like bringing people out there to cut meat out of it. And then someone else had a really good comment when we were watching it too. It's like, well, they just leave the meat on the slab like after they go home for the day. Like no one,
Right.
like put this in a freezer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, well, the fact that it's just sitting there too, like God knows how long that thing's just been laying there
Yeah, I
rotting
mean, at least it would
potentially, like
attract scavengers of some sort. They must have some sort of guard. I don't know.
right. So like, and they go out to it too. Like clearly it's a ways
Yeah.
out, so it's not like it's probably being actively supervised. The
Yeah.
dude can't even afford to pay his people properly. What am I to believe he's paying more for security? So I don't know.
I guess another criticism I might have too, I do kind of feel like the Inquisitors in general come off more cheesy than threatening to me, at least at this stage. But
Yeah,
that's a minor quibble at this point, and I think that might be rectified in the future. I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, I was excited to see the Inquisitors because of the things I've heard about the show so far, would be like some potential connections with Jedi Fallen Order, and some like video game, because apparently Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor was quoted at some point and saying that they were like trying to integrate like video game elements
Yeah.
into the
Well,
story.
well, that's the thing too. Like the Grand Inquisitor apparently died at the end of episode 2, but we know that can't be the case because he's in Rebels as like the
Right.
main threat, and that happens years after this series. So
And that is one thing actually about this show that I find it's kind of the reverse treatment of, I mean, I guess it is kind of like why the prequels didn't necessarily have like a lot of um like stakes either, but like we know Obi-Wan is really never truly going to be in any danger that will end his life because we know that he makes it to A New Hope. And that's the same with Luke and Leia. And so regardless of like whatever kind of danger they get put in, we know for a fact that they are going to make it through. And so there's going to have to be like superfluous characters that get added to add any sort of like actual stakes for a lot of this. So like I feel like Kumail Nanjiani's character is going to be one of those characters, right? Like he's going to die for some reason. Because right now, like the stakes are, oh no, Leia got kidnapped. Anyway, like
yeah, I mean, and that was almost like resolved at the end of this episode. So, I mean, where are we going to go for the rest of? Well, I guess maybe now that Vader will be after them. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
did really, and I don't know, like, I think having been unplugged from Star Wars for a while, I'm finding myself being just kind of like giddy with excitement about some of these revelations that were coming. Things that maybe I should have like picked up on immediately, like as an enjoyer of Star Wars, but I was trying to figure out what the hell Second Sister's issue was with Obi-Wan, you know, like the implication being that she was at the Jedi Temple that night where the Stormtrooper Order 66 was happening. And she has some serious beef with Obi-Wan for reasons. And I was like, what is her deal with Obi-Wan? Like, she probably didn't personally know him necessarily. So why the hell is she so hell-bent on getting after him? And I was like, oh, of course. Like, it's Anakin. Like, Anakin sending her, like, in his stead at this juncture, you know, kind of on, like, secret missions. Which, like, in some of the extra content of Star Wars that I've consumed, mostly video game related, but Vader seems like that's kind of his MO. He is always seems to be sending his own acolytes after targets that he's interested in, that without Palpatine knowing, or without like the Inquisitors knowing. Like the Grand Inquisitor knew that she was after Obi-Wan, but he probably doesn't necessarily know why. So I'm to assume that it's because Vader is sending her.
yeah, the problem I see with that maybe is that she like that's one thing I wasn't quite clear on and didn't know if I necessarily liked was that Riva knew about Leia being connected to Anakin somehow. And
Right.
I thought that was
Leia,
a secret. I didn't think people were supposed to know about that. So she had somehow faked.
Oh no, you finish your thought.
Well, I mean, I don't even think Vader. That was a secret from Vader. I don't think he was supposed to know that he had children at this point in the story.
No, no. Well, she does mention specifically that the reason she went after Leia wasn't because of a relation to Anakin. It was because of the relation to the Organas. Because Obi-Wan fought alongside Organa during the war.
See, I guess I missed that, even though I watched it 3 times. Anyway, yeah. I thought it was because she had a connection to Anakin.
Yeah, it was completely happenstance that like Obi-Wan happens to be looking after Luke and is called upon to go get Leia. But I do remember that is a little convenient, I suppose. And I also still can't get over it feels like a little bit of a like Obi-Wan has really gotten the shit end of the stick on this whole deal, right? Like carted off, or Luke too. Like Luke and Obi-Wan get carted off to fucking Tatooine, one of the shittiest planets to live on, with like no money, no resources of any kind. Meanwhile, Leia gets adopted by a royal family and becomes a princess, or is a princess at this juncture. She's got like the lap of luxury, and like Luke is fucking picking sand out of his ass. Like it just seems like such. Or just like, oh, like let her go with this loving family, and she'll, grow up, and like it won't even be a problem. It's like, but fuck Luke though. Fuck that guy. Send him to the desert planet. Like, but but yeah, no, like I am really looking forward to seeing more of this. Though I am really curious about where they're gonna go with this story, because clearly Obi-Wan shows a ton of reluctance in leaving.
Yeah. Well, I guess just to get into things I enjoyed about this show, like I think Ewan McGregor did a really great job in the role. Again, I mean, he's a great actor. I think Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa did a really good job. I like that this story is actually kind of gives a reason why Leia would try and contact Obi-Wan at the beginning of Star Wars: A New Hope with her message to him. I think that's pretty interesting, because I don't ever think it was truly connected before why she was trying to contact Obi-Wan of all people, and how she knew where he was.
Right, how she would have, what the connection was there. And
yeah. I really loved all the creatures in the show. They did an amazing job, like especially in the second episode. So many cool things to see on Dio, or whatever it is. There was like the first Star Wars meth lab. I just learned that the chick that went and offered Obi-Wan death sticks, that's actually Ewan McGregor's daughter in real life.
Oh no shit, that's really funny.
Yeah. But yeah, some of those creatures were just amazing. Like the raptor bounty hunter guy who was trying to kill Obi-Wan on the roof.
No, I loved him.
I loved like that crazy tall hairy looking guy that Leia runs into and gets freaked out by.
Right, just like,
or the weird like long legged Yeti creature she ran underneath the legs of. There's some really good ones. Some of the creatures in the meth lab were really cool. Yeah, I love the creatures. They were maybe my favorite part. I also love that we finally got to see Alderaan in live action.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, something that I found they haven't really, like, have we seen any like really direct footage of the prequels in any of the like TV Star Wars content so far? Like,
there's a scene in the Boba Fett show, where he has like a flashback to him holding his dad's helmet after he got beheaded.
Right.
So I don't know if that was directly from the prequels, but that was definitely there.
Because I found it really, like, I mean, it was like just waves of nostalgia, watching that, just the intro of like seeing the buildup, because that's a tremendous amount of information to have to convey just for the beginning of the show. Because I'm assuming Disney's trying to, lure in as many people as they can with this program, and not all of them will have seen the prequels.
Well, I would think the vast majority have, but
I would assume, but then again, like, I don't know, I run into people every day that are like, oh, yeah, I never really got into Star Wars. I'm like,
there's a lot of people that I know that have watched The Mandalorian, but have not watched any other Star Wars. Yeah. And they love The Mandalorian, but they haven't seen any other Star Wars. And just interesting to me that show has kind of crossed over even from the fandom.
Yeah, no, and I do really like that, because then we're bringing in new fans into the genre. I mean, like, you even look at stuff like with the video games, like I keep bringing up Jedi Fallen Order, but I really love that game. It's, it's a Souls-like in a way, like, and it's kind of like Dark Souls, so it has like some challenging aspects to it. So that crowd kind of crossed over into Star Wars world with the subject matter, and so there's like more and more Venn diagrams being created of different overlaps.
Yeah.
And so I just
Well,
enjoy that.
there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there still, and I've heard like people worried that Star Wars was dying and stuff like online before. I'm like, I don't think Star Wars is dying. There's so many
Sure.
people, young people, that still love love it so much, and a
Mhm.
lot of it, I honestly think it's the prequels. Weirdly
Yeah.
enough, I think the prequels have connected with people more than anything, like any of the other Star Wars content at this point, which is really bizarre to me because
Mhm.
I just remember growing up and I'm like, man, I love the Phantom Menace so much, but people seem to hate it. When I was like just a little kid, like I loved it, and I'm just happy that the
it's kind
prequels
of
have kind of got like every dog has its day or
well, I think part of it too is like when you make like it was still so fresh back then, like the prequels were just very different, I think, from the original trilogy. And I think in hindsight too, if you're going to be making comparisons to the new sequel trilogy to the prequels, there are going to be some really strong opinions about what people think is better, right? Like there are probably people out there too that think the original trilogy is trash compared to the sequel trilogy or to the prequels, perhaps, you know. And so, but yeah, time heals all wounds, man. Like people were shitting all over like Hayden Christensen as an actor
yeah,
at that
now
time.
they're excited to see him again.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, I
it's
still contend. I think he did a pretty bad job in Attack of the Clones, but uh, I can't
also
even
think
a lot of Attack of the Clones. I can't even like watch without just like cringing. It's just so terrible, especially the scenes with him and Padme. It's like, oh my gosh.
I know it just like there's just no way you're ever going to be able to present that love story to me and have me go like, oh, that's fine. Like, everything about it is terrible because you just if you get stuck on the age thing and then
Well,
just
the
how
age thing doesn't bug me really that much because they're both of
it's
age at this point.
it's just so creepy like how Anakin comes off like and just both of them honestly are just creepy with each other and I just hate it so
Yeah,
much.
it is weird. It's very weird, but it is. I mean, it's interesting how iconic almost every line in those freaking movies are now. Though, it's like how many times do I hear about that stupid sand quote? I probably hear at least once a month.
Yeah, right. Like, well, God, I mean, there's a whole freaking subreddit dedicated to prequel memes,
Yeah,
man. Like, it's a phenomenon at this point. There is no. Is there a sequel trilogy meme Reddit page that's somehow
there
like?
is. Wow,
Is
we only
there?
have 10 minutes left. This went really fast.
Yes, it did. Well, we're talking about Star Wars, of course. We get sidelined on Star Wars on shit having nothing to do with Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, but yeah. I'm definitely excited to see where the show goes. I don't mean my criticisms to say I don't like the show.
mhm.
If we're going to talk about anything else with Star Wars, it is the celebration this week. So they dropped a new Andor trailer. I don't know if you saw that. I thought that looked pretty
No.
interesting.
Oh, cool.
And I'm more excited about that show now for sure. They dropped some Mando footage, or at least some Mando footage leaked for season 3. So that's kind of exciting.
Oh yeah, because that's probably where that because apparently there's a new trailer out for the next Jedi Fallen Order game,
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
which I will definitely be watching after this.
Yeah.
I want more.
They announced a new Star Wars show as well. I think it's called Star Wars Skeleton Crew with Jude Law. And it's supposed to be like kind of like a Stranger Thing set in space. We'll see how that actually works out for them. I could see that being terrible. But
Yeah, that sounds a little out there.
trying to think what else kind of drops. I'm still waiting on when the Bad Batch season 2 is going to come out. Like I really want to know about that. And I really want them to announce like a season 2 of Star Wars Visions because I
Yeah,
would like to see some of those storylines continue, see them kind of get developed. So we'll
yeah.
see. I mean, I think it goes on till Sunday tomorrow. So I think the Bad Batch panel's tomorrow.
There's still stuff dropping. Cool.
Yeah. So
I
it's
didn't even
pretty
know.
exciting. There's a lot going on. Yeah, good time to be a Star Wars fan for sure. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
think like I'm loving what they're putting out. Like I love the shows. It's fun. Oh, the other big thing, Tamara Morrison was in it. Love that as one of the clone troopers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't notice that?
No.
Yeah, he was like the
Oh, wait, no, no, no. I totally did. I did
yeah.
notice that because I was like, wow, man, he just gets to be in everything now. Like, if
I
there's.
love that cameo. I also wanted to say, as far as good acting, I really thought the actor that played Owen Lars, and I can't remember his name right now, he did a really good job in that role. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because did they get the same actor to
mhm.
come back who played? That's what I thought. No, I guess I was wrong. I guess I was mistaken. I thought that.
Joel Edgerton, I think is his name is. His name is.
Oh yeah, Joel Egerton. Yeah, yeah. One of my like weird. I had noticed that like the design of the lightsaber that Obi-Wan was carrying. I thought he had grabbed Anakin's lightsaber at first, but that is definitely his lightsaber upon further investigation. I was thinking like that would be kind of weird for him to take Anakin's and not his own
Yeah.
at this juncture. But
Yeah, my favorite things about Star Wars is definitely the world building and the characters. So if they can nail the characters in the world building, even if the rest of the show is dog shit, like I'm still gonna enjoy it. So, and I do like that they're building Leia's character up some more. It's like, well, now we've seen her as a young girl, uh, sexy woman in the bikini, and an old lady getting thrown into space. And someone else mentioned too. I mean,
Mhm.
it's. I guess now we know why she named her son Ben. You know, uh,
Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's true because like she would have had that exposure to Obi-Wan
yeah.
by
So
that point. It makes that make a lot more sense.
yeah,
I mean, like I made that connection when I first watched um, the first of the sequels, but like seeing it in action is definitely cool. Also, yeah, I am. I guess my one head scratch at this point. Well, no, actually, never mind. I take that back. I was thinking why C3PO would have been an um, Alderaan, but she or C3PO's with R2D2 on the ship when they
yep,
escape from
yep.
Vader. So that totally makes sense. I was thinking, like, man, I feel like these droids fucking get around, man. Jesus. Like,
Yeah, they
but
stayed with Leia on Alderaan, I think.
mhm. Yeah. No, I'm excited to see more. I mean, I think the big questions on my mind right now are when and where is Darth Maul gonna show up? Because I feel like that has to be something that happens based
You
on
think?
things I've heard. Yeah, I think so. Like,
I feel like he won't. I don't. It could be wrong, but I feel like he won't in this show.
and then the other thing is when is Cal Kestis gonna show up? Because of like the video game integration, like
Yeah,
you fight several of the like Inquisitor sisters in that game, but I feel like the sisters that I thought were the second and the fourth sister. So either there are different like orders of them around, or the sisters that we're seeing end up going away and being replaced by new ones. So I'm not really sure how that works or how that's going to get integrated, but
yeah. Someone made a nice chart on Reddit of like all the different sisters and brothers that have been shown so far. So
oh, cool. I'm gonna
yeah,
check that out. Yeah, because I know that one of them that you fight in Jedi Fallen Order is like she's a big burly alien, like she's
yeah.
really large, like Hulk-esque size.
I feel like that one was in one of the graphic novels too, but I could be
Mhm.
wrong. One of the Vader graphic novels that they're doing.
Two sisters, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I would really like to see them in the yeah, interesting. So like the second sister is one that you fight regularly in Jedi Fallen Order, and then it's just the oh, she's the ninth sister. I'm off by a lot, so she's the ninth sister. The big one is anyway. So she still has potential to show up, but the second sister, that's who
was Cal
Reva is, right?
Kestis. No, second. Yeah, I think you're right. Second sister is Reva.
And so, yeah, Cal Kestis showing up. Maybe the timing doesn't work out as well as I'm hoping. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Either
see.
that or, I mean, the second sister could very easily die over the course of this show. In fact,
Yeah.
probably.
She probably will. Let's face it. She
Yeah,
kind of deserves it at this point. She's kind of being kind of mean.
But anyway, at this juncture, we're trailing off on Google searches here.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah. No. Well, sound off in the comments down below. Let us know what your opinions are of Obi-Wan Kenobi so far. I know that despite some of our grievances, I think Nick and I are both in agreement that like the show is pretty good so far. There are maybe some rough edges to be smoothed out, but I'm really looking forward to seeing more of little Leia. I need to hear little Luke being whiny at least once. But I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts, sir?
I look forward to watching it next week and discussing it with you, Matt. Other than that, I think I love any Star Wars. So
more Star Wars. Give me, put it in my face. Feed me the Star Wars.
Yeah,
but
you should watch the Star Wars Acolyte trailer. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be looking at some trailers after this because I have.
Star Wars Andor. I said Star Wars Andor, right?
I think so. Yeah, okay. Or Acolyte, I think is what you said.
Sorry, I meant Andor. The Acolyte, that doesn't have a trailer yet.
But at any rate, thank you all for joining us today for this episode of the Nerds of the North podcast. We will catch you guys next week. Probably have some more Obi-Wan to talk about. And yeah, I know that there's been a lot of stuff that came out this week. So hopefully we can slip in some other non-Star Wars related stuff. But we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you later.